Venom in theaters everywhere October 5th. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota's 2018 clearance countdown is on. Get the biggest new savings on an adventurous new RAV4. Yep. Ready to roll in St. Louis with his 4-game series between the Dodgers and the Cardinals on a gorgeous night for baseball. And a good crowd expected. A little bit earlier start time than normal. 6:15 local here in St. Louis. Under the arch, Clayton Kershaw goes for the Dodgers in this opener, and this is the lineup that'll try and support him tonight. Chris Taylor to lead things off, then Justin Turner and Manny Machado. David Freese back where he started his career, followed by Kemp and Dozier. And in center field, Kike Hernandez, with Austin Barnes doing the catching for Kershaw. He'll face off with a 24-year-old rookie, Austin Gomber, who spent June and July in the bullpen, moved into the rotation in August, and you can see by the numbers he's been fantastic.
He has been very, very good. I think the Dodgers will be attacking him because the league has done well against him early in the count. And so when the Dodgers are out there and you got guys that are swinging the hot bats like Taylor and Turner who are starting off the game, don't be surprised if they are attacking and trying to ambush him.
Dodgers 12-6 since that sweep at the hands of the Cardinals in August. Cardinals, meanwhile, best record in the National League since Mike Schilt took over around the All-Star break. Off we go with ball one. Taylor's been one of the hottest Dodger hitters lately. .389 here in September with a pair of home runs on this road trip. On this 1-0, takes it inside, ball two. Build off of the offensive performance yesterday with the 8 runs in the finale in Cincinnati, more than they scored in the first 2 games combined. Starting tonight, 2 games back of the Rockies in the division. Gomber home with a 3-0. Strike one.
A little easier today to concentrate on what's right in front of you. Not a lot of scoreboard watching necessary with the Rocky-Arizona game over with and the Cardinals right there on the same field with you.
Taylor rips a base hit to left, open this one. So a leadoff single against Austin Gomber, who the Dodgers saw a few weeks ago, August 20th at Dodger Stadium. Gave up 2 runs over 5 innings and a no decision. And the one thing that happened in that start, those 4 walks, those are a career high. He's a guy that at times can struggle with control and facing a lineup that chases less than any other.
And we saw that with Chris Taylor there at the top of the order building the 3-0 count. I mentioned that they're probably going to attack early in the count, but very good at attacking strikes and making sure they get the pitch in their zone.
Here's Turner taking strike one. 2 more hits yesterday for Justin. Still leading baseball in just about every major category since he came off of the DL on August 2nd. Turner lifts one down the line, foul, and it's quickly 0-2.
Justin has been absolutely amazing over these 34 games. You worry when he comes back off the DL, can he find his stroke for the power? Can he be consistent? Will he stay healthy? Well, he's done it all and been powerful. What potential to lead the team, and he has followed through with that.
On this 0-2 from Gomber, he hits one down the line again that will stay foul. So the Dodgers plenty to gain from having seen Gomber once. The difference is that game was caught by Pena. Yadier Molina is back for this one. And typically these young pitchers, they're just going to follow what fingers Yadier puts down.
For sure. You know, he has such passion and intelligence for the game, and his body language alone gives you confidence in what he is calling. So you don't have to worry about, you know, is my youngster on the mound going to make some good in-game adjustments? The captain behind the plate will take care of him.
The Cardinals bringing Molina back for this big series. He's been out for the last week, nursing a sore hamstring. It's always noteworthy when the Yadier takes a day off, let alone a week. Turner takes it in the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Funny, we were talking in Cincinnati about the team making the tour for the Japan All-Star Series. Chris Taylor's going to be a part of that. And we laughed announcing that Yadier Molina will also be on that tour. Take a day off, my man.
Take a day off, and you know what? He accepted the invitation when he wasn't playing here in the regular season. Usually a guy on the DL or a guy nursing something, when he gets asked to do something postseason, he's like, can you wait? And maybe I'll see if I'm healthy. I'll give you a better answer or a better read, but right now I'd like some more time. Well, he's no. Yeah, I'd love to go.
36 years old. Signed through the 2020 season and has said that, yeah, he's tossing around the idea of retirement coming after that. Playing right now what is a record deal for a catcher. See what he calls on 1-2. A fastball that Turner punches in the air to right. Martinez is under it for the first out. One on, one out here in the first, and up comes Manny Machado. He's looked really good in his pregame work the last couple of days, and the numbers have been good since joining the Dodgers, but they've not been elite like they were when he was in Baltimore over the first few months of this season. Hope is that he can recapture that form and put this team on his shoulders over the final few weeks here.
So many individuals in the lineup that can carry the team offensively if they get hot, but Manny is one that is due. And so when you're due, the focus comes on you. Last year the focus was on Yu Darvish and the acquisition of him, and he was the crown jewel of the trading season. Manny Machado, the jewel that the Dodgers uncovered and got.
1-1. Yes, Dave Roberts. Who you got this weekend? Who's due to take off? And without hesitation, he said Machado.
And Dave is not doing that just predicting because Manny has done it before, but Dave does a lot of that on the eye test of the quality of their at-bats. He can usually see things coming as a guy looks better and better in his approach, but just hasn't gotten those hits yet.
Tries to lay off a breaking ball, but can't. He's behind 1-2.
Let's get caught in between right there.
It's a slider that Austin Gomber threw 30% of the time when the Dodgers faced him a few weeks back. Normally throws the curve more. Fastball banged into center, base hit. Second hit of the open inning against Gomber. They're first and second with 1 out.
That was a special piece of hitting. I know he's saying barrels are overrated right there, but boy, this usually shatters your bat as far in as that one was. But boy, he did a nice job clearing the hips, getting the hands inside, and getting the barrel to that ball.
A great reception here for David Freese. Hometown boy and the World Series and postseason legend around here. First pitch that he sees from Gomber is low. It gets by Molina, and the runners advance to second and third. Our Land Rover Performance Spotlight, looking at what David Freese did in his time here, especially in that 2011 postseason, MVP in the Championship Series, MVP in the World Series, and one of the great single postseason performances of all time. 21 RBIs that postseason. RBI chance here in the first, fouls it off 1-1.
He hasn't disappointed in a Dodger uniform either, hitting .400 since coming over here and really playing a very clean first base.
Taylor at third, Machado at second. Freese takes strike two. It's from Wildwood, which is just to the west side of St. Louis, at the Lafayette High School. Lafayette Lancers. A bunch of friends and family looking forward to having him back in town this weekend. His wife and his young son joining him here. On a 1-2. Freese lifts one down the right field line. Do it again. You were here in the 2011 World Series calling the games for ESPN Radio. And what a remarkable performance. What an amazing game, that game 6.
Absolutely amazing. And when you feel the vibe in the ballpark and the pressure of what's going on, as much as these fans love baseball, follow baseball, and are into every pitch, when he made it happen, this place went crazy.
On another 1-2, he pokes it foul with a half swing, and it stays at a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, the game-tying double off of the wall over Nelson Cruz, with the Cardinals down to their last out, and then the walk-off homer in the 11th to force the game 7. Part of his 5 seasons here in St. Louis. Second and third, one out. Another 1-2 and another pop fly. Foul ground that will become a souvenir. David 35 now in his 10th major league season. For St. Louis, it was on to Anaheim for a couple of years, 2.5 years in Pittsburgh, for the trade to the Dodgers up against the waiver deadline. Takes it inside, and it's 2-2. Eighth pitch of the at-bat. Freese rifles it foul.
Somebody who knows him best, Yadier Molina, is really trying to wear him out with fastballs in. Molina was defaulting to that pitch with Machado and Turner. Looks like they're using Gomber's stuff to really try and get in on the righties.
Couple singles in this inning from Taylor and Machado. The 9th pitch from Austin Gomber to David Freese. Make that the 10th. It's another 2-2, and Freese takes it low to work it full. Kemp waits on deck as the Dodgers try to crack through here in the first in game 1 of these 4 against St. Louis. On a payoff, grounds one, just foul.
You know, there's a mutual respect between Molina and Freese, and I think it's a little bit different than just any teammate coming back. Yadier always steps out and gives David his time. You see David try and stop him, so he comes out and delays the game so that he can be recognized. And you see, this is not a love tap. This is a relationship tap between those two. It's deeper than we just played together.
Boy, between that standing ovation and now these 12 pitches, he's been up there all night. Another 3-2 and another foul ball. The next pitch should be the 13th.
If there's any form of trash talking in baseball, it could be between Molina and Freese during a long at bat like this. Close enough friends where you go, come on, man. Hit one in fair territory.
Taylor at third, Machado at second. 3 balls and 2 strikes on the veteran Freese.
Freese would say back, like, you know, if you throw me a fastball down the middle, I'll hit it in fair territory for you.
Here it is. This is awesome.
The funny thing is that Gomber is not hitting his target at all. It's like coming up with a new scouting report on where we're trying to take it, where it ends up, and what he does with it.
Half of the pitches he's thrown in this inning have come to David Freese. Pitch count already up at 28 for the rookie. Another 3-2 and a bullet past third base hit. Freese wins the battle with a 2-run double. He's not stopping at second. Here comes the throw to third. He's in there safely. What a way to open this series. A tone-setting at bat for David Freese. On the 14th pitch that he sees from Gomber, extra bases into the corner. See if it's a double with an error, if they'll give him a straight triple.
The marathon at bat ends with something very positive for the Dodgers. The top 3 hitters doing a job here. Machado was up there. And I'll tell you what, hitting that bullet, extending the pitch count, and getting 2 runs on the board, you are right. A 4-game series with the wild card within reach. Big hit.
They do rule it a triple. So a 2-0 lead for the Dodgers, and Gomber's already thrown 29 pitches. Mike Schilt and the Cardinals trying to do a good job of keeping the pitch counts down for their young starters. It's managed very aggressively in recent weeks. So a chance for the Dodgers to get into that St. Louis bullpen very early here in game 1. One gone, it's Matt Kemp taking a strike. Kemp flexes one, right center field. That will sink down and bring home Freese. And the Dodgers lead at 3-0 on an RBI single from Matt Kemp.
Everybody thinks when you bring the infield in, that's going to make it tough to get ground balls because your range is cut down. Well, it also makes it tough to get pop-ups between the infield and the outfield. And if you're back at normal depth, this is probably a ball that would be caught by the second baseman. But with the infield in, it falls into no man's land.
That's Tyson Ross already warming in the Cardinals pen. Still just one out. Here's Brian Dozier. First pitch curve for a strike. This is already the most pitches that Gomber's had to throw in an inning this year.
15 appearances for Gomber this year coming out of the bullpen before he got a start. So if they wanted to cut this outing short, they could bring him back.
Dozier smacks it too short and a double play to finish the inning. The Dodgers have already matched the run total that they got against Gomber his last start against the Dodgers. 3-0. Kershaw takes the mound. We come back. Let's take a look at the Cardinals lineup for this one with Matt Carpenter to lead things off. And Jairo Munoz starting in second tonight, batting second. Martinez, Ozuna, DeYoung. Jerko's at third. Molina doing the catching, and Harrison Bader in center hitting eighth. Since the All-Star break, Clayton Kershaw has the third best earned run average in the National League at 204. And in all 9 of his starts, he's given up 2 earned runs or fewer.
So consistent, not quite as dominant, but definitely making a lot of adaptation to his stuff, his location. The Cardinals have not seen this type of Clayton Kershaw. He'll be using both sides of the plate. Of course, more breaking balls and sliders. And I think really he is such a strategist now compared to being this guy that's just going to overpower you.
And he'll face a guy that has put together a great case for MVP. Matt Carpenter to lead things off. Swings at the first pitch. That's strike one. And you're going to see the Cardinals swing a lot at the first pitch, as you see with just about anybody that faces Clayton Kershaw these days.
Attacking that first pitch. They know he's going to come after them with a first pitch strike. And they know the average against when he's throwing that strike is pretty solid.
And a curve, and it's 0-2. Clayton Kershaw throws the first pitch for a strike more than any pitcher in baseball. And so opponents swing at the first pitch against Kershaw more than against any other pitcher in baseball. And they're having success doing it, hitting .389 on the first pitch. Thing is, though, they've got to get the job done on that first pitch, because if they don't put it in play, the average plummets after.
There's something to be said about knowing it's going to be a strike for a hitter. There's some comfort in.
Carpenter yanks a line drive right center that'll bounce in front. Kike Hernandez for a leadoff single.
The difference in the velocity of Clayton's fastball and his slider has gotten a little tighter. So knowing that he's going to throw you a strike early in the count, especially that first pitch, start the bat and really understand the timing and rhythm of his delivery. I think that's why the league is hitting so high off him on the first pitch.
There's a 23-year-old rookie, Jairo Munoz. The Cardinals really excited about. Not somebody that they had particularly high hopes for, but was pressed into duty because of injuries early. He's done a lot of this, hitting the ball hard. This one the other way, and gone or off the bottom of the wall. Carpenter held at third and a double for Munoz.
The Ball seems to be really carrying to right field. This ball is crushed, but boy, it is carrying out there to right field. And this is a tough call with that screening there by the bullpen to allow the guys in the bullpen to see through and watch the game. I'm not sure even Matt Kemp could get a really good read on it, but you see it hits right there by the 375 mark.
Yeah, and he went after the first pitch as Carpenter did. Now Jose Martinez. Strike one. Be interesting because we know how much Clayton Kershaw likes to throw inside to right-handed hitters. Jose Martinez, the #2 hitter in baseball against inside pitches. Ball, one strike.
And that is one of the things that Clayton has changed. He has that as a foundational pitch, the fastball into righties, but over the years, especially the last 3 years or so, he has gone less and less to that pitch. It is still the foundation of his fastball and a location, but it is something he's starting to recognize and use the outer half of the plate a little bit more.
1-2. That's when he's at his very best these days, right? When he can locate that fastball to the arm side.
If you go back to 2016, he was about 52% of the time to a right-handed hitter, the fastball would be in. And that didn't count anything that was center cut in the middle of the plate. So even if he made a mistake, we didn't count those kind of pitches. Well, now in 2018, only about 45% is he going to the inner half of the plate.
Comes back in here and misses. 2-2.
When you're charting a guy's tendencies and you're looking at locations he's trying to hit, you really just have to go to the extremes to see, because when they make the mistake or need a strike, you're going to get some ones that are in the middle, and you just got to discount those because you have no idea what the intent of the pitch is after you see the data.
Got him to chase for the first out.
And it's away, and such an awkward swing that you got to believe that he was defaulting in his head to, if I get something hard, it'll be in. You see the front hip, you see the weight shift towards third base, and then all of a sudden he's just got to fling the bat with just the arms and the hands. He has no body in that swing.
So Kershaw gets the first out of the inning, and here comes Marcell Ozuna. This was a problem for the Cardinals in a loss yesterday against Pittsburgh. Twice they had a man at third with nobody out and failed to bring him in. First pitch curve, Ozuna smacks it to second, and on a bounce Dozier's got it. Throws Ozuna out, but Carpenter scores from third, and the Cardinals on the board.
Second and third, one out. Dodgers get a double. Second and third, one out. Cardinals get a fielder's choice.
And a man at third with two gone for Paul DeJong. The 25-year-old was the runner-up to Cody Bellinger for Rookie of the Year last year. He had 285. He hit 25 home runs, despite only playing in around 100 games. But he's not had the same kind of follow-up season. This time early with a broken finger. The number's not good since coming back in early July. Good stop by Barnes. 1-1. Strike two. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Munoz leads at third, and Kershaw comes home to DeYoung with a 2-2 and gets him swinging to finish the Cardinals in the first. They get in the board with a couple of hits and then a productive out from Ozuna. One as we go to the second. Joe Davis or Hershiser, Alana Rizzo. Dodgers forced Austin Gomber to throw 33 pitches in that first inning, getting a 2-run triple from David Freese and an RBI single from Matt Kemp. And now Kike Hernandez takes the first one for a strike. Hitless in Cincinnati, 7 ABs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good to be out of Cincinnati and done with the Reds, huh?
And the vibe, too. You know, it's a great baseball town, but they're not a great baseball team, so they're not getting much of a fouling right now. And then very disappointing those first 2 games.
Well, as far as the motivation from the environment, you're not lacking for that here. Popped up. 2-2. You go from one end of the environment spectrum to the other. Going from Cincinnati to St. Louis. And of course, part of that is that you go from a team who's 20 games below 500 to one who has been the hottest in the National League since the break. And busted its way right back into the postseason picture. Full count. And 47-46 when they fired Mike Matheny. And elevated Mike Schilt, who they've since removed the interim tag from. Start the day 3.5 back of the Cubs in the division, but in control of the second wild card. Hernandez takes a leadoff walk. As far as the West Division race goes, we take a look at Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. The Rockies came from behind to win last night, and then today, with Clay Buchholz scratched for Arizona, it was all Colorado, taking 3 of 4 from the D-backs.
Hitting for power, finding holes. Blackman here finds a hole, and they really put it to him. It got close at one point. It was 5-3, but then they stretched the lead late.
Strike 1 on Austin Barnes. Rockies now 9-3 in September, while the Diamondbacks over their last 20 games have gone 6-14. The bullpen 0-8. Gomber to Barnes 0-1 with a curve, strike 2.
Gomber has shown already that the Dodgers have a good read on him, not put away stuff at all. The Dodgers only have 1 swing and miss out of 20 swings. He hasn't struck anybody out yet. A couple of the hits that he's given up were with 2 strikes.
Back to the curve, and it freezes Barnes. His first K of the night.
This one drops out of the sky and barely makes it back to the strike zone. If Barnes hits it on a line or a long way, it's a hanger. If he takes it, it just mystified him.
Opponent's hitting 108 against that curveball. Added it a couple years ago. It's really improved in the last year or so with advice from Mike Maddox, the pitching coach. Gets ready to face a guy who knows a little something about throwing a curve. Kershaw showing bunt. Fernandez at first and 1 away. Lays it down but firmly. Gomber gets the lead runner at second.
Jerko was really charging at third, and he was there early, and it looked like Clayton maybe was thinking about trying to push it by him between the pitcher and third base. You see where he is, and Clayton didn't look like he was trying to deaden that. The top hand actually pushed out towards shortstop to maybe give it a little power. Just didn't get the right angle if that's what he was trying to do.
Back to the top of the order. Here's Chris Taylor. Started the game with a single, scored on the freeze triple. Strike 1. Summer full of trying to find it for Chris Taylor. Mechanical tweaks and different drills in the cage, different swing thoughts. Lifts this one to right field for Jose Martinez. And after the 3-run first, Gomber puts up a 0 in the second. LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls. Only at Jack in the Box for a limited time. A lot of action already in this one, with the Dodgers in front of the Cardinals 3-1 to the last of the second. Take a look at Clayton Kershaw as he takes on the Cardinals, brought to you by AARP and his well-documented struggles against the Cardinals in the postseason. He's got good numbers against St. Louis during the regular season, over 16 starts against them. But in those 4 postseason starts, he's 0-4 with a 6.14 ERA. And in fact, this is his first start here since his last postseason start in this ballpark. Game 4 of the division series in 2014 when he led 2-0 into the 7th. And Matt Adams hit that home run in the decisive game for the Cardinals.
Those demons, they serve as inspiration prior to the game. It really gets you focused, get the energy up. But if anything starts to unwind during the game, you have to push back against them because they get to give you some negative feelings like, here we go again.
Jed Jerko, strike 1. Matt Adams, by the way, is back with the Cardinals. Acquired him from the Washington Nationals in late August. And he's been really good for St. Louis. Curve is up and it's 1-1. Jerko watches a slider just miss. 2 balls and a strike. Three and 1 on Jerko. He's making his first start for the Cardinals here in September, having missed some time recently with a groin injury. And the Cardinals have cooled off some in September. They're 5-6. A lot of that has been injuries in the lineup. Jerko, we mentioned Molina, dealt without Ozuna for a while. 3-2. Just trying to get everybody back to health in time for what they hope is a kind of a surprise trip to October. You say surprise, it's the expectation around here that they go to the postseason when the season starts. But they didn't do anything around the deadline because the expectation was that they were done. A strikeout to open the second. In the month of August, they go 22-6, completely changing the picture. With 1 gone in the second, here comes Yadier Molina. First at bat for Molina in 8 days as he dealt with that hamstring injury. He takes ball 1. Two and 0.
We're not used to seeing 3-0 counts with Clayton Kershaw on the mound. As much as he attacks and throws strikes, and no matter what the velocity is now, the precision with the execution is something you come to know and respect and love about him, and he gets back in there.
Now delivers a 3-1. Molina watches miss for ball 4. Kershaw's first walk of the night. Here's the rookie Harrison Bader. He's very quickly established himself as one of the best fielding center fielders in baseball, and offensively, the icing on the cake has been that he's been better than average at the plate.
He just oozes gamer.
Yeah. The socks and the hair before you even watch him play. Strike one. 24-year-old. Originally from the Bronx, grew up a diehard Yankees fan. Went to Florida for his college baseball. On an 0-1 from Kershaw. He pops it up. It's 0-2.
As far as muscles, he's kind of taken it right to the edge where you still see the athletic ability and the being fluid and flexible, but he looks like he enjoys the weight room.
He's no Michael Lorenzen.
No, well, there's very few of those.
Whiz. Yeah. Hershiser in his prime.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
Perfectly placed. Kershaw sits him down, 2 gone. For the last 5 outs recorded by Clayton via the strikeout.
Going away right here. Couple of sliders for strikeouts, couple of fastballs away.
Now Gomber slices a line drive, base hit to left center. And Gomber in limited hitting duty this season, having just moved into the rotation in early August, hitting above 200.
This is not a cheapie. It's a pretty compact swing for a guy who's 6'5", slender build, and some tight parts.
Third hit against Kershaw, first time through the order. Kershaw now to face Matt Carpenter. Singled and scored the Cardinals run in the first. Strike one. You look to try and see what's changed with these Cardinals as they've turned their season around since the break, and really it's been everything has gotten better. The offense has gone from near the bottom of the league in runs per game, which, let's face it, is the bottom line, to number 1 in the National League. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carpenter, averaging better than 5 runs per game since August 1st. It wasn't just Mike Schilt that they promoted. Mark Budaska, George Greer, both promoted to hitting coaches. Schilt has deflected a lot of the credit to them, helping turn this offense around. Two on, 2 out, second inning, and Kershaw to Carpenter with a 1-2 to get him swinging. Kershaw 5 Ks over 2 innings and a 3-1 lead after 2.
The off-season adventures continue for Chase Utley and Justin Turner as they explore more of Dubai. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Cadillac, Friday after the postgame show on Sportsnet LA.
You're looking at the monitor like, wait, I know that guy? It's Matthew McConaughey. Oh, you're looking at your monitor like my monitor's broken, there's nothing in it.
Yep.
Okay, it was Matthew McConaughey and Clayton Kershaw.
My monitor for a second had no signal.
Do you see Austin Gomber now?
I do.
Good. We all do too.
Oh, good.
3-1. Top three. Dodgers getting 3 against the rookie in the first. Settled back in with a scoreless second and now faces Justin Turner to open the third. Way upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Turner hits a high fly ball to left center field and deep. Ozuna's back at the wall, can't pull it in. Turner's at second to start the inning.
Every outfielder will tell you if they can get a glove on it, they should catch it. Marcell Ozuna arrives in time. He's feeling for the wall, but he thought he was closer. When you're running on the warning track on an angle, it's hard to know your steps and how far. There's an extra step and a half when you're on an angle. It looked like he was feeling for the wall a little early.
That's a Gold Glover a year ago in Miami. It's a ball that's got to be caught. Now, it's another one of the phases it's gotten so much better since Mike Schultz taken over the Cardinals defense. Machado shoots one inside the bag, and the Dodgers waste no time adding on here in the third. Back-to-back doubles from Turner and Machado, and it's 4-1. And Manny's got his second hit in as many ABs tonight. Dave Roberts proving prophetic, saying that he had a feeling Manny could carry him this weekend.
He is a good scout as we take a look at this double on the Carl's cam and just shoots that hole away from the data. It works just fine to trade places with Justin Turner.
I'll bring up David Freese, who tripled on the 14th pitch that he saw in the first. Two and up. And David, right before he was dealt to Anaheim after his 5 seasons here in St. Louis, 1 week before then, he met the girl that he would marry. Grew up here, played here for 5 years, just before he went to another team for the first time. That's ball 3. They got married at a coffee shop in Pittsburgh. Signed the papers, celebrated with some crepes, and had a real celebration back here in St. Louis later in the winter. The green light, 3-1.
Well, he made Gomber work in the first at bat, and Freese ends up winning the battle. Take a look at all these. He saw a lot of pitches before he got that ripped double.
On the corner for strike 2.
It was a triple, I forgot.
I caught it a double in real time anyways, so it was my fault. I put that seed in your brain.
Well, the way the ball rattled around the corner, couldn't tell if it was going to be an error or it was just a wall.
Now Zuna's had a bit of an adventure out there tonight, not just the ball that Went off his glove on Turner's double. See Ross warming again. Got another deep count going with David Freese. Next pitch will be the 7th.
Since putting on a Dodger uniform, I really can't say that I've seen him lost in the batter's box. He just seems to be so locked in. Whether he gets a hit or not, he just professional at bat after professional at bat. Very good balance, looking like he understands what he's trying to do and what the pitcher's trying to do.
Perfectly placed. Not a whole lot he could do with that. Gomber's got his 2nd K.
He's been adding that more and more, the changeup to right-handers, as he's got into the rotation, more reps, more feel. And that's something that the Cardinals think could end up being an outstanding pitch for him to complement his other off-speed pitches.
One gone in the 3rd, and here's Matt Kemp, who blooped home a run his first time. One ball, no strikes.
Manny having a little fun out there. It's always a lot more fun when you're 2 for 2.
That helps.
Your team's up 4-1.
Yeah. Overall, though, stressful times.
It was nice to have a little bit of a laugher there in Cincinnati in the last one, but you're right. Every inning has been stressful since this race has been so tight.
One.
Yadier Molina told Gomber, like, leave him to me. If he gets a little too much, I'll backpick him. If he thinks he wants to try and steal third with 1 out, I got it for you.
Ball 2 on Kemp. You'd probably prefer the ease with which the Dodgers cruised to the division title last year over the stress that they're going through this year. But viewed another way, the stress of the division race is a whole lot better than what the Giants are going through right now. Lana told you off at the top tonight. A record since moving to San Francisco, 11 consecutive losses. Right at the shortstop, the young. Kemp is out number 2. That's where the Rockies are headed, starting a 3-game series tomorrow, but the Giants are going to throw Bumgarner on Saturday and Eric Rodriguez, who's been their best this year, on Sunday.
And you got to believe the Giants are due, so that could be good for the Dodgers that they start to turn it around. Very few teams in Major League Baseball start to lose past 11 games.
Machado at second with 2 out for Dozier, who takes a strike.
Dave Roberts predicting that Manny Machado would get hot. I bet you Brian Dozier would hope that the skipper start to put some of his magical dust on him with some quotes about, yep, I see it in Dozier too. He's been going through a few mechanical adjustments in the box.
Popped up into the the seats. You know, when guys go into slumps the way Dozier's in right now, a lot of times they'll sync up video of their current swing with the swing from when they were feeling right. And very frustratingly, as Dozier's done that recently, he and the hitting coaches can't find any differences. Just looking at it on video, and you can slow that down frame by frame and break down the very finite details. But what a frustrating thing not to be able to see anything. They've just gone to different drills, trying to capture different feels that may unlock something for him. Just trying to kind of shock the system.
He's going against somebody right now who's proven he doesn't have put away stuff. Dodgers have swung the bat 30 times and only swung and missed once off a Gomber.
Good old jinx.
Thanks.
They're not real, don't worry. It wasn't you.
Okay.
He's a Major League Baseball pitcher who threw a good curveball.
MLB.tv for $25.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this limited time offer.
Gotta love the backdrop out there with the arch shadowing over the ballpark. Clayton Kershaw back to the mound with a 4-1 lead for the bottom of the third. Jairo Munoz spins out of the way of ball one. 630 feet tall, the arch.
I have been up in the arch. The little cars that tilt every 10 or 15 feet to get you back to level.
1-1 strike.
You get to the top up there and you look through the little windows, those windows, you can see the arch is swaying that you're standing in. It's windy days, I'm not sure I would want to be up there.
Yeah, no thank you. Take pictures. 2-1. One time a family with a 6-year-old took the last trip of the day up into the arch. They got to the top. The doors didn't open, and they were stuck there for 45 minutes.
Oh, no. With a 6-year-old.
Yeah. 2-2. Another time a fuse blew on the tram system and 200 people got trapped in the very top of it for 3 hours.
They should probably like store some supplies up there.
Yeah, water and
energy bars.
Yeah. Curve falls in to get Munoz for the first out. Kershaw has 6 Ks out of the first 7 outs of the game.
Dropping down. Hard to pull the trigger to think that's going to make it all the way down, but it does.
So now Jose Martinez. Looks at a well-placed strike. 30 years old in his second major league season after 11 years grinding away through the minor leagues. From the White Sox system to the Braves system to the Royals, even some time in independent ball. Cardinals had their eye on him a few years ago when he was with Kansas City and tore it up in AAA. Hit it close to 400, but never got called up. Soft chopper, Manny Machado. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Ozuna. Rips the first pitch foul.
You know, the last strikeout by Clayton Kershaw on a curveball guaranteed, but there are some sites tonight tracking his other strikeouts, and they're tracking them all 5 as on sliders. Well, he's either throwing his slider harder and shorter and tighter, or he's cutting his fastball a little bit, because it does not have the break of his typical slider that I would chart it as a really angled and large breaking slider. It's been very small.
He's got 7 Ks through 3. Backdooring Ozuna. 4-1 after 3.
Game 1 of a 4-game series with a 4-1 lead in the top of the 4th inning. Tomorrow it's Walker Buehler, and then on Saturday it's going to be Rich Hill. And Dave Roberts announcing earlier today that Sunday now has a starter. Originally it was supposed to be Alex Wood's spot, but it now belongs to Ross Stripling. In fact, Dave Roberts telling us, guys, that Ross Stripling not only is going to make the start on Sunday on short rest, but he is in the Dodgers rotation for the foreseeable future. Hyunjin Ryu will start on Monday in Los Angeles against the Rockies, and Alex Wood has been moved to the bullpen, guys.
All right. Kike Hernandez taking strike 1 from Austin Gomber. Some breaking news from Dave Roberts and Alana this afternoon. Opportunity to shape things. On an 0-1, Hernandez yanks a base hit to left. So leadoff single here in the fourth. What are your thoughts on those significant moves?
Well, it is a next man up mentality when there's somebody who gets hurt, but when you get down to crunch time here with the number of games the Dodgers have and the key opponents they have to play, it's best man up, and that's what Dave Roberts and the organization is doing. They evaluated Ross Stripling at a level where they said, you know what, he gives us the best chance to win. Alex Wood right now is not really throwing the ball up to par, so we're going to use him in some higher leverage situations. He has pitched well out of the bullpen, and we expect him to pitch well again out of the bullpen.
A strike on Barnes, and of course, you know, Alex is not going to be happy about that. Very prideful guy, really likes to start, takes a lot of pride in that, but his stuff has a chance to, like you mentioned, it has before, but to really be weapons coming out of the bullpen.
Move Kenta Maeda down there with an outstanding slider, an outstanding changeup, and that against righties has been devastating. Then you add a left-hander and Alex Wood down there with an outstanding breaking ball, outstanding changeup that could come in and devastate left-handers. If they can cover an inning plus each, it really thickens the pen.
Back-to-back hits from the bottom of the order here. Hernandez and Barnes to open the fourth. And here's Kershaw, who unsuccessfully tried to move the runners up his last time.
Cardinals playing aggressive first and second, no out infield defense. Playing the 6-hole, kind of shortening the wheel play. Some organizations on the wheel play will use the shortstop to bluff the man at second back and then have him gain a step or two on the runner at second before the wheel play starts and the pitcher delivers the home. Cardinals do it a little different.
Kershaw pulls it back and slaps one down the line, a fair ball. Read well by Hernandez. He'll come in to score. RBI single for Clayton Kershaw. And the Dodgers have a 5-1 lead.
The aggressive defense gave Clayton the opportunity to pull it back. No matter what defense you use with this hit, you are not going to get it. But perfectly executed by Clayton. You are just trying to hit it hard to the left side with a whole bunch of movement, and you probably find a hole. Well, he hit it in the air right there to left field and did the job.
This is by far the shortest start of Austin Gomber's major league career, just 3+. He gives up at least 5, and the men at first and second his responsibility. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by White Boy Rick, based on a true story, only in theaters September 14th, and by Carl's Jr. Back in St. Louis, where the Dodgers have opened up a 5-1 lead in the 4th inning. And a pitching change. Who's in, who's out, brought to you by In-N-Out. Gomber leaves, and Tyson Ross, who came over from the Padres in early August, comes on.
Dodgers know him very well. 4-pitch pitcher, but to right-handers like Chris Taylor, it'll be predominantly the fastball and the slider.
Still nobody out in the inning. First and second. Taylor shows bunt and takes a ball.
Not a complete sacrifice right there from Chris Taylor. Yes, a bunt, but with his wheels and his bunting ability, could be also bunting for a hit. And if it fails by a little bit, he gets the sacrifice done, and if it's successful, you get bases loaded.
Dodgers tonight 4 for 7 with men in scoring position. Barnes at second, Kershaw at first. Taylor takes at the top of the zone, strike one. Tyson Ross, you mentioned Dodgers, very familiar with him. 12 starts against the Dodgers lifetime. 0-8. The 31-year-old from Berkeley, California, 9th year with Major League time. Fires 1-1. Taylor bunts it foul, strike two.
Some fans might be thinking, you know, why is Taylor not just squaring around earlier in the count and just sacrificing? Some hitters, they actually bunt better, trying to bunt with a little bit more movement and rhythm compared to just being stagnant and squared around. Brett Butler, who was an excellent bunter, and bunting was a huge part of his offensive weapons. When he would sacrifice, he really didn't square around. He just kind of bunted for a hit, but knew that maybe he would change the angle of the bat a little bit more to make it more conservative than right down the line.
On a 2-2, Taylor watches ball 3. Dodgers 5 runs on 9 hits already.
This is a huge part of the game for them to possibly blow this one wide open. 5-1, first and second, 3-2 count.
Taylor lashes one into right center field. That's a base hit. Bader slides to cut it off shy of the warning track. It brings home Barnes. Kershaw stops at third. RBI double for Chris Taylor, and it's 6-1 still with nobody out.
An awesome feeling for Chris Taylor to respond to not getting the bunts down, but with 2 strikes, 3-2 count. A very nice swing that we have started to see often with him now going through this hot streak. Boy, he would be a force at the top of the order if he can stay hot.
He was incredible in that role last season and into the postseason. Won a National League Championship Series co-MVP. Such a tone setter at the top. Here's Turner taking strike one. With Brian Dozier's continued struggles over the last few weeks, it's opened the door for Taylor to get another opportunity in that role. Oh, 0-2. Half of the Dodgers' hits tonight have come with 2 strikes.
This is a different lineup than yesterday when they got all the runs and the offense came alive. 2 usually completely different lineups depending on if it's a left-handed starter or a right-handed starter. Just because you're not starting in the game doesn't mean you're not going to get in. It seems like there's a second wave. The cavalry comes in about the 6th inning when all of a sudden the bullpen comes alive on the opposing side, and Dave Roberts has plenty of weapons to match up.
Second and third, nobody out. Another 1-2. Turner grounds it foul. Will do it again. That takes a tremendous amount of buy-in when a lot of those guys that are coming off of the bench in that second wave are veteran players that previously had been platoon proof.
Yeah, you have to buy into we are doing everything we can to win the game, not enhance your career. Because they all want the opportunity to get 4 at-bats and not be pinch hit for when they're starting. They all want the opportunity to be able to face right-handed and left-handed starters.
Turner shoots one down the line. That's foul.
It's kind of like, you know, starting pitchers would rather work out of their own jams, stay in the game, you know, see the hitters the 3rd time around the order, the 4th time around the order, go deeper. But, you know, they're finding out that in this culture of baseball and the analysis that certain parts are better than other parts, no matter what the player's motivation or want is. It's a strategy and personnel game, substituting and changing the way you look at the game. It's happening before our eyes.
Turner lifts a fly ball to center field that sends Bader back to the warning track with room. But plenty deep enough to bring home Kershaw. And the Dodgers lead 7-1.
It was a very comfortable sacrifice fly for Clayton Kershaw. No pressure on Chris Woodward on whether to send the ace and all of a sudden put him in a precarious position. Clayton will want to play the game in a complete way, and he would take the risk and want to run there and slide it home plate and bang bang on a close play, but there's no way Chris was going to risk it and didn't need to because of the depth of that fly ball.
Dave Roberts said before the game today he had a good feeling about Manny Machado in this series, and Manny's done nothing to diminish those hopes. 2 for 2 with a single and an RBI double. On the first one from Tyson Ross, he strokes a line drive to center that will bring home another run. 8-1 Dodgers, another productive out.
I mean, you can't draw it up any better. Other than the guys getting hits, both hitters, Turner and Machado, productive outs, both hitters using the center of the diamond, which is going to keep you on the fastball, keep you on the off-speed stuff. Very, very well executed.
8 runs over the first 4 innings for the Dodgers. Machado's driven in 2 of them. Now David Freese, strike 1. On that 3-game sweep in August, Oral, the Dodgers scored a total of 6. Now here they are with 8. For the 4th inning of Game 1 is complete.
Matching the total from last night. Getting everybody on the bench a smile, including the guys that aren't starting, because this is a huge team effort. Those guys will probably get in the second half of the game. But it is nice to see the Dodger lineup, and we talked about it pregame. There's not just 1 or 2 guys in this lineup that are hot. There's 4.
Freeze chases there. That finishes the inning, but a 4 spot for the Dodgers and an 8-1 lead. We've been talking about Clayton Kershaw getting the job done at the same exceptional rate. You know, the ERA around 2.5, but doing it differently. It's a bit of a throwback performance tonight with 7 Ks through 3.
He has been dominant in only 47 pitches. Clayton has been the best starter over the last 9 games for the Dodgers. The rotation has really hit a bump in the road, but not in his starts. On a personal 4-game winning streak, extending that to 5 if this score holds up. A good guy to have on the mound when you're going to 7 big games in a row.
Ahead of Paul DeYoung, 0-2. He's got these 4 here, and then they're going to finish up this long road trip and this long series with a late night Sunday before returning home in the early hours of the morning Monday to get ready for 3 with the Rockies. Kershaw's 0-2. DeYoung rolls it to third. Easy play, Justin Turner. 1 out.
The Dodgers begin their final weekend at home, hosting the Padres beginning Friday, September 21st. After the game, take your place on the field to enjoy the final Friday night fireworks display of the season, presented by Denny's. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Can't believe we're talking about the last homestand.
It has flown by.
Jed Jerko, strike 1.
You know, I think this season has been quicker because it's been a battle. Every day we've come to the ballpark. Are they going to stay hot? Are they going to turn it around? Are they going to catch the Rockies? Are they going to stay out in front of the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, there was no chance really to allow yourselves, if you're the Dodgers, to feel the dog days.
No.
Curve, 0-2.
When's Turner going to be back? When's Kershaw going to be healthy? How's Kenley feeling? What are we going to do at the trade deadline?
Another soft grounder. Barehanded by Machado. What a play!
I think there was a deflection off the mound. He got such a good jump originally that he was going to be there very easily if the ball continued on its course. As we take a look at the Arco top tier play, no, Clayton Kershaw deflects it with his glove. That's the change of directions that he had to make up, and why Clayton was making such a big smile at the end back at Manny. A terrific play.
And as with everything he does, he somehow manages to make that look easy. Caught at third, and the inning ends in the blink of an eye. As Molina lines out to Turner. Through with 4, 8-1 Dodgers. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the new movie Venom, in theaters everywhere October 5th. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota's 2018 clearance countdown is on. Get the biggest new savings on an adventurous new RAV4. Back in St. Louis, Manny Machado. Incredible defensive plays. Part of this 8-1 Dodger lead to the 5th inning. What is Puig doing?
I don't know, maybe kidding him that was a really nice play, but I still have a better arm than you.
I'd like to see a gun on both of them, see who would win that war.
Yeah. I'll take Puig.
Do you think it'd be higher velocity?
Yeah, I think so.
Matt Kemp to open the 5th against Tyson Ross.
I'm running it through my brain, but I think I would still take Puig.
Off a mound?
Oh, off a mound? Well, we could never do that one. That would be fantasy because they would take too high a risk to get hurt.
Francisco Pena doing the catching now. No swing, 2-0. Well, I think it's probably fantasy either way. I don't know that we're going to set it.
With StatCast, though.
That's true.
We get Machado on a routine ball that he really needs to gun and kind of takes a crow hop into it. And then Puig, when he catches one and is throwing it home to get a runner.
Big bounce on Jerko, adjusts nicely to get Kemp. Yeah, that's true. I bet we could find that right now.
You'd have to pick the, well, you could just do the top end one on any play,
right.
Or you could pick a couple that look like they've got their complete balance, plus they're going to let it go at full steam.
Brian Dozier 0 for 2 so far. He's the only Dodger without a hit tonight out of the starting 9. one for his last 30. Strike one.
On StatCast, I think Yasiel's got a little bit more of an advantage just because of the outfield and the running start, the momentum. And he doesn't have to hit such a precise target, even though he does hit it, where Manny's got to throw it to a bag and probably going to have a little less momentum.
Who's third?
Well, I was going to throw Chris Taylor right in there and Cody Bellinger.
Kike Hernandez.
Oh, Kike Hernandez too. Yeah, we got some good arms.
And the ground is short. DeYoung. 2 down. Now, Taylor's throw the other night, I think in Cincinnati, the first night in Cincinnati, his throw to the plate that I think Grandal wound up dropping.
Right.
That was clocked as the hardest throw from a Dodger this year.
Really?
Yeah.
And what was it? Was it above 90?
Yes, it was.
Well, then we don't have a winner between Manny and
That's true.
Yasiel. We have an outside contender that has already posted a number.
Kike's reached both times with a walk and a single. Single opened the fourth. Came around to score one of the 4 Dodger runs in that inning. Another ground ball. Good dig by Carpenter. Halfway home in the opener in St. Louis. All Dodgers so far. At 8-1, and we welcome inside our broadcast booth Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser, and the Dodgers in a big series here, getting off to a really good start.
Yeah, the big fellow on the mound shutting them down, the offense coming to life. It's fantastic. It's a breath of fresh air if you're a Dodger fan to see this scoreboard this early.
You mentioned the big fella on the mound. Kershaw's been really good so far.
Yeah, he's been dominant. The breaking stuff. The slider is getting charted as most of his strikeouts, but he's really changing the shape of it. Sometimes he's enhancing the speed and tightening it up, and sometimes he's making it a little bigger. So he's very deceptive tonight, even when the hitter reads slider spin. They're not quite sure how it's going to break.
7 Ks over the first 4 for Kershaw. Comes home to Harrison Bader with ball 1. Victimized by one of those strikeouts his first time up. 1-1.
You know, with Clayton Kershaw, Joe, I just love that level of pitching when a guy just doesn't take fastball 1. Okay, oh, he wants it over there. Slider 3. Oh, he wants it over there. It's changing the shape, manipulating the pitch according to what he really sees and feels he wants to do to the hitter. And that is just the pure definition of somebody moving from thrower to pitcher. And he has never really been a thrower.
No swing, 2-2.
Take a little off, put a little on, make the break a little bit bigger, make it a little shorter, make it go straight down a little bit more.
Gets Spader swinging. Strikeout number 8.
Give the hitter width, but don't give him height. So this one starts right down the middle, makes you think about swinging, and then ends up too low. You go for both. You sometimes don't get the action from the bat because the hitter's in between on whether it's going to be a strike. But you give him one thing or the other, and then you take it away.
Cardinals going to try and get some length out of Tyson Ross tonight. He'll hit for himself and take a strike. It's a high fly ball to left center field and deep. Hernandez to the wall. It's off the top of the wall and gone. Tyson Ross with a home run.
This gives the Cardinals something to smile about. The scoreboard won't. 8-2 it makes it. Kike Hernandez with an outstanding effort, almost getting it before it goes into the flower bed.
Second career home run for Tyson Ross. Went back in 2015. Carpenter lays the bunt down, and Barnes and Kershaw both went for it initially, then neither grabbed it. And it's a bunt single. That's kind of backwards. The pitcher launches a home run. The guy with 30-some home runs bunts for a hit.
Doing anything they can to climb back into this game. Tyson Ross was not part of the plan, but Carpenter trying to reach base was.
Here's Munoz. Grounded by diving Turner for a base hit in the left. Kershaw had retired 8 in a row. That's 3 consecutive hits now.
Well, here's where you see the greatness of Clayton Kershaw. The fact that he is now in a jam with a big lead, and we have seen it time and time again over the course of his career how he really figures out a way to get out of this. He doesn't ever melt down. He will keep competing.
Heart of the order, Jose Martinez. Challenged him, strike one. One ball, one strike. Now, just thinking about what you're saying about Kershaw throughout his career being so good at getting out of jams. You know, the career average against Clayton Kershaw with runners in scoring position is 196 for his career.
That's awesome.
Big bouncer at first, Freeze lost it and throws wild. Cardinals have loaded the bases with an error on Freeze.
David Freese has been silky around first base since he became a Dodger. This one just can't get the exchange out of the glove to get it to Clayton quickly. Brian Dozier's there to cover it up and to keep it bases loaded. We have not seen that from David Freese at all. And you know, Joe, the challenge for Clayton Kershaw just got a little bit bigger.
Loaded up for the cleanup man Marcell Ozuna, who's hit 8 home runs in his last 17 games. He's got a couple grand slams this year. Base hit to left. Carpenter into score as they go station to station. The Cardinals chip away another. It's now 8-3.
Mentioned earlier in the game that we're going to see the Cardinals swinging on the first pitch. A lot of their hits tonight have been on that first pitch, attacking the strikes. Over 70% of the time, Clayton throws a first pitch strike, and they attack that one right there. Looking for a ground ball at someone. The Cardinals found one in a hole.
And now Paul DeJong. He's got 17 home runs this season. Bases loaded, 1 out, 5th inning. It's a high line drive to center that's playable for Kike Hernandez. But it'll bring home Jairo Munoz, and it's 8-4.
As far as what Clayton can control, the score would be 8-3 and the inning would be over, but he's still out there battling 69 pitches into the outing, trying to get him in the dugout.
Martinez is second and Ozuna at first as Jen Jerko comes up. 0-2 in this one, but with a home run in his career against Kershaw.
A lot of work here, 70 pitches in. Kershaw, the second hitter next inning.
Two and out. Three balls, no strikes. Francisco Pena on deck. Three and one. Jerk to left center field. Chris Taylor is there, and that's the inning. For the Cardinals with a 3 spot against Kershaw to climb back into the picture as we go to the 6th.
The Rockies on Tuesday. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Matt Kemp bobblehead presented by Budweiser. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Eight 4, top 6. Tyson Ross with his second career home run. First one in a few years. Made it 8-2. Cardinals added a couple more in the 5th, and it's 8-4 as Austin Barnes gets ready to start the 6th. Shows blunt, spins out of the way of ball 1. Ball on a strike. Barnes has a hit today. Came in to score as part of a 4-run 4th for the Dodgers. One of the 10 hits. Chased Austin Gomber from the game before he had it out in the 4th. That's in there, 1-2. Full count on Barnes. Ground ball left side. DeYoung gets to it, but doesn't get enough on the throw. Barnes has his second hit of the night.
Every game is critical, but every hit for Austin Barnes reaching base is really important for the Dodgers, because then it gives Dave Roberts the opportunity to get him in the games and rest Yasmani Grandal. And Grandal can stay hot and get hot when he's getting enough rest. So then your catching department is a huge upgrade.
I mean, even though that ball wasn't hit hard, just for the psyche of Austin. A couple hits tonight. Kershaw's got an RBI single in this one. Takes strike one. And Barnes, by the way, with the 2 hits tonight, has his average back above 200. 0-2.
Psychologically, another good place.
Right.
To look up on the scoreboard and at least see the 2 in the front end of your average instead of that I-95 or I-85, wherever you are when you're below 200.
Those video boards and those scoreboards are so big these days. It's pretty in your face.
Yeah, you can't ignore them.
No. Kershaw lays this one down, and Pena will throw him out. He's able to execute with 2 strikes to advance Barnes to second.
You know, it's nice when you're at home and you can look up at the scoreboard, and if you're having a rough year, they can put up some comments about something, what you're doing positive, like, you know, hitting 500 over his last 10 at bats, compared to all you get on the road is 185, 195, 200.
Yeah, they're not trying to frame it well.
They're not going to help you out.
Maybe at home, if it gets too bad, you just get what your favorite color is or something like that. Two more hits tonight for Chris Taylor. Speaking of average climbing, his above 250 with those 2 hits. Barnes takes off, and Pena gets him.
Austin does not bring catcher speed to the game. Legged out his infield hit, and that one is about a half a step short. The momentum also takes him right over the bag. Looks like he gets tagged on the helmet. The first go around would have been out, but definitely out there with coming off the bag with the foot.
Ball on a strike on Taylor.
We've talked about it in the past about how we score certain things. Do you put SBA when he gets thrown out there, 2 to 5?
CS.
You just put caught stealing in. Put stolen base attempt. You're always better. Your hashtags are better.
Why you put hashtags in your scorebook?
No, but I'm just thinking if
Poke
you ever
to
did.
right. Martinez has it. Hashtag F9. Hashtag getting over. Brought to you by Canelo versus Triple G2. Saturday, September 15th, 5 p.m. live on pay-per-view. Dodgers with a chance tonight to cut the deficit in the wild card race to 1 game behind St. Louis. Of course, the top 2 teams in these wild card standings will play the wild card game, with the winner advancing to take on the 1 seed in the National League in the division series.
The goal is to win the division, but it's nice to have a net under you as you do this high wire act down the stretch.
First at bat tonight for Francisco Pena, and he fouls off the first one from Kershaw. As recently as a few weeks ago, it didn't look like that any team in the West was going to be a part of the wild card picture. The Dodgers 12-6 since the Cardinals swept them in August. Very much part of that conversation now too. 0-2. Right now, that wild card game would be against Milwaukee. Although the Brewers have closed to within a game and a half of the Cubs. Did you see what the Cubs had to do today?
No.
They're in the middle of a homestand. They wrapped up first series on it last night against Milwaukee. They had to fly on their off day, or ahead of their off day, to Washington to play a makeup game with the Nationals, which they win in 10 innings today. Get back on the plane, fly back to Chicago, open a series with the Reds tomorrow.
Wow. That'll beat you up a little bit.
This is after they spent last weekend in Washington. They dealt with rain all weekend. Ultimately, that game they couldn't get in. Teams had a mutual off day today, and that's when they decided to make it up. Kershaw deals 1-2. Pena grounds it to the hold it short. That's from Machado's position to get him. That's Kenta Maeda. Harrison Bader. Down the line, a fair ball. Ricochets to Chris Taylor. And Bader runs very well and has a double.
Bader picking on this pitch. It's up, it's slightly in. Barely stays fair, but this carom right here off the angle of the wall keeps it away from Chris Taylor long enough for Bader to make it into second.
And in the pitcher's spot, here's Tyler O'Neill. Who has never faced Clayton Kershaw in a regular season game, but as a 21-year-old minor leaguer with the Marlins 2 years ago during spring training, hit an absolute mammoth home run off a Kershaw fastball. Kershaw starts him with a fastball that misses up. You know that O'Neill remembers that. Do you think Kershaw remembers it and remembers that it was him in a minor league game or in a spring training game?
He may. I can't go one way or another on that one. Never really asked Clayton to review his spring training games. But he does have the same game face from pitch 1 in spring training through the end of the year.
They asked O'Neill about it this week, and he was very humble about it, not wanting it to come off as boastful at all. Not wanting to get back to Kershaw, give him any more reason to want to get him out. He said, yeah, I put a lot of the barrel on it. 1-2.
I think the best response would be, really? I did? If you want to neutralize Clayton's reaction. But then he can go, the guy doesn't remember?
Two and two. Curve never landed, and the count goes full on O'Neill. And an 8-4 game in the 6th. Dodgers getting a 4 spot in the 4th. Cardinals responding with 3 in the 5th. Here in game 1 of 4 between these teams. 16 remaining in the regular season. A payoff. Got his hands in, but it's foul.
In watching baseball, sometimes you see a foul ball like that and you think, man, don't throw that pitch again. But it's actually really great information for the pitcher and the catcher to watch somebody hit it hard and hit it foul. It doesn't necessarily mean don't throw that pitch again. Maybe it means move it in a little closer. Maybe it means take that location and start something there and then move it down and in away from that. So you don't all of a sudden just get on your heels and go, oh, I don't have good stuff, or this guy's seeing me really well. You process it.
Next pitch should be the 9th. Another 3-2. He walked him. Second one issued tonight by Kershaw, and they're at first and second with 1 out.
It's quite a take to be getting the barrel of the bat on the inner half, not really getting to read the outside corner, and getting a guy like Kershaw to almost clip it out there. It froze him, but he got the ball call.
And so now he's got to deal with Carpenter with traffic on the bases, facing him for the 4th time. Carpenter has a pair of singles tonight, scoring after both. Right close to ready to go. Right-handed batting Jairo Munoz actually starting a run of 7 right-handed hitters after Carpenter. Flies the first pitch and foul ground at third. Justin Turner and Manny Machado. It'll be Turner for out number 2.
Clayton has thrown some fastballs in to Carpenter. Looked like he was defaulting to something close to the heater. He got a slider that ran down the barrel of his bat and got that pop up.
And so it's up to the rookie for the Cardinals here as they try to get a little bit closer in a game that they once trailed 8-1. Munoz has 2 hits tonight. Boy, had a center cut strike, but swung through it.
Maybe trying a little too hard. The head pulls out. Saw what he liked, but didn't see it long enough.
Ball on a strike.
Clayton knows this is his last inning. Might even be his last batter. So, of course, you're just thinking about emptying the tank. You're not saving any strategies. You are going right to where you want to get him out and what feels best in your hand. And you're not saving any energy at all. That reaction to me looked like start over. Let's go back to where you were. I agree with you now.
On the signs?
Yeah, first time around, Clayton wanted to shake it off. Then he figured out, no, he's right.
2 on, 2 out. Here comes the 1-1. Curve is pulled sharply, but on a bounce right to Machado, and that's that. Kershaw gets through 6 to the 7th, leading 8-4. Innings. It's the first time in the second half that he's given up more than 2 earned runs in a game, but with the support, it's always relative, and tonight it's been enough. The difference has been what the teams have done when they've had opportunities, because both sides have had plenty of traffic, but the Dodgers have gone 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position, while the Cardinals have gone 1 for 9.
That has been a theme for the Dodgers throughout the year, failing with runners in scoring position. They turn that around and get consistent in that department. That will help them an awful lot.
John Brebbia on the pitch. Pretty similar stories for the two teams offensively in that they are very reliant on the home run ball. These two teams 1 and 2 in the National League in homers. And the Cardinals, man, when you look at the games where they homer versus games where they don't, that tells the story. Now, granted, they do have a home run in this game, but it came from a relief pitcher. Justin Turner leads off this inning against Brebbia and takes ball 1. Cardinals, when they homer, are 72 and 33. When they don't, 9 and 32.
That is drastic. And a lot of those homers came after the managerial change. Carpenter took off.
Carpenter had a stretch in July where he hit 8 home runs in 6 games.
That'll carry a team.
That'll help. Check swing roller that'll stay foul. Tonight for Turner, a hit, a run, and a run banded in. Leading off the 7th on a 2-1 pitch. He watches ball 3. With Machado due next. John Brebbia rocks and deals, and Turner swings and misses. 3 and 2. Good beard. A lot of beard. Good beard.
A lot of beard.
Off the corner, 1 out. Up comes Manny Machado. We take a look at our Coors Light refreshing moment. Machado so far tonight, 2 for 2, single and a double, and a sacrifice fly.
Dave Roberts gave a great scouting report to you. He said he thought Manny would be the guy that would start to really get hot, and boy has he. And not only with the bat, with the bare hand too, on a deflection from Kershaw. Ridiculous play. Looked like a guy in the NBA who just made a 3-point shot going back for defense.
Yeah. Takes ball 1. He is a big basketball guy. He said that if he wasn't playing baseball, that's probably the career he would have chased.
This winter, we'll probably see him at some Laker games watching LeBron.
Yeah. Has a dog named Kobe.
Maybe he'll be sitting next to Kobe. I'm sure he can travel in that circle. Maybe he's going to take Kershaw with him. Let's see if we can get invited.
Sounds like a night. It's going to be a tough ticket. Not that it hasn't been, but an especially tough ticket. The Lakers games this year. 2-1.
Oh, I think we'll get a ticket. We've got magic powers.
We do. Tell me more.
Magic Johnson.
Oh, yes.
Hashtag I won that one.
3-1. Cody Bellinger on deck. The bullpen working. Dave Roberts ready to start to use the bench pieces. Rubia to Machado with a payoff. And a fly ball to center field that sends Bader back at the wall, out of room and gone. Machado homers to center. His third hit of the night. He's a triple shy of the cycle. And the Dodgers lead at 9-4.
That kind of home run from a star player that hits in the middle of the order relaxes everybody, not only about tonight's scoreboard, but about future at-bats for him down the stretch.
Bellinger's first trip up there tonight. He looks at a strike. 34th of the year for Manny Machado, split between Baltimore and Los Angeles. 10th in a Dodger uniform. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bellinger. So he's got a single in the first, a double in the third, and now the homer in the 7th. Ball 2. Bellinger with a back spinning fly ball that is playable for Harrison Bader, and the second out of the 7th. Look back at the Machado home run with StatCast AI powered by AWS.
The swing was so smooth that it surprised me how far it actually went. Not that it was a home run, but to go that far up the hill and to clear it easily, I thought it was going to be a paint scraper if it made it out. The great lever system and a very smooth athletic swing.
Kemp with 2 out. Like you've mentioned a couple times tonight, it seems like the ball is really traveling well in this park tonight. Strike 1.
I've always felt that this can be a little bit of a pitcher's park here. The air seems a little lighter.
Kemp serves his second hit of the night into left. Yeah, by home run park factors, it's the 5th least homer friendly park in the majors this year.
Definitely classified a pitcher's park.
Not tonight. 13 runs on 21 hits between the two teams combined. Here's Dozier taking a strike. It's 21 games in a row now with a home run for the Dodgers. It's an LA Dodger record, and again the franchise record, 24 consecutive games, was set in 1953. Dozier back up the middle, but Munoz is waiting on it, throws him out. And we stretch in St. Louis with the Dodgers in front 9-4. The latest tally coming on this swing from Manny Machado, his 34th of the season. Coors Light refreshing finish. Clayton Kershaw tonight gives up 4 runs over 6 innings, but has a large lead as he leaves this game, handing it over to the bullpen.
Helped out with his bat, definitely helped out with his arm. Yeah, you look at the line, you go, it wasn't the most dominant performance from Clayton Kershaw, but he did what he had to do leading off this 7-game stretch of seriously important games.
It's Kenta Maeda to come in for him for the 7th with all these right-handed hitters in the Cardinals lineup. Couple defensive changes. Alex Verdugo replacing Matt Kemp in right. Cody Bellinger, after pinch hitting for David Freese, remains in and plays first. Jose Martinez, strike 1.
There was a bad taste in your mouth the last few weeks about the bullpen, but hey, have really turned the tide the last 18 games. So don't think all of a sudden when the Dodgers go to the bullpen that you are walking on pins and needles. These guys are starting to really do the job, and they've gotten thicker and more healthy down there with Fields. Guys like Floro and Ferguson are really on a roll, and Kenta Maeda, and now Alex Wood down there. Pedro Baez has thrown the ball well, Scott Alexander. So a lot of good choices now for Dave Roberts and Rick Honeycutt, with a bunch of guys that are throwing the ball really well.
Month of September, they're second in the National League in earned run average down there.
And they're not just coming in and getting outs. They've got over a strikeout an inning. They're not walking guys, and they've been throwing some clean innings.
Maeda to Martinez with a 1-2. He gets him to chase for the first out of the 7th.
Kershaw did a good job with Martinez. He reached on an error, but other than that, 2 strikeouts, 1 by Clayton and 1 right there by Maeda.
Both of them getting him to chase down and away. He's the #1 hitter in baseball on pitches up. He's the #2 hitter in baseball on pitches in. And so, since he's not Mike Trout overall, it would reason that there's a giant hole somewhere like that. They've exposed it a couple times tonight. 1 gone with the bases empty for Ozuna. Who's in his first year in St. Louis. Now, the Cardinals originally had a deal in place for his Marlins teammate Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton blocked that deal, and they shifted their focus to Ozuna, who hits a fly ball to center field that backs up Hernandez to the wall, and leaping attempt comes up empty. Verdugo plays the carom. Ozuna stops with a double.
A good effort from Kike, and good job, no assumption, from Chris Taylor and Alex Verdugo to come over and help their center fielder on this carom. Brush up against the wall for Kike, sprinting back to it, but Verdugo beat him to the ball and held it to a double.
There's another chance for the Cardinals with a man in scoring position. They're 1 for 9 tonight in these situations. It's Paul DeYoung popping it up. Will they have room? Not quite. Paul DeYoung, very smart guy. Has a degree in biochemistry. His backup plan, if baseball didn't work out, was to keep going with his schooling, go to med school. Always liked math and science, never really loved reading, writing, and he said he had an uncle that was a doctor who it seemed like was always hunting and fishing and living in a big house, and thought that seemed like a good life, so thought he'd go that route until the baseball thing worked out. Poke to right center. That's down for a hit. Ozuna will score. RBI hit for Paul DeYoung. And a 9-5 game in the 7th.
changeup completely fooled him, but a cue shot off the end of the bat is just enough to find some outfield grass. Tighten this game up a little bit.
And bring Jerko to the plate. It's on the corner and it's 1-1. Cardinals tonight going over 3 million fans for the season. Third team in the majors to do that. Dodgers were first. Yankees did it recently. Now the Cardinals reached that landmark. 2-1. Caleb Ferguson.
Some nice field mics down there in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Give you a lot of confidence if you could hear that while you were throwing.
You should put earbuds in to our broadcast.
Some bullpens are awesome.
As far as the echo.
Acoustics, yeah, just pop and you just have so much confidence.
Jerko base hit to left field. DeYoung headed for third and Taylor throws him out. Poor decision from Paul DeYoung with the Cardinals down 4 runs.
Thank you very much. A couple of small mistakes in this inning. This one for sure. And on the last Cardinal run, Alex Verdugo came in from right field and barehanded the ball, got away from him. They were actually going to hold the runner at third until they saw the ball get away in right field. And this one right here, the Cardinals give it right back.
So now Pena. One ball, one strike. Only the Rockies, here's a random stat of the night, have made more outs at third this year than the Cardinals. One and two. Chase the slider, and that ends the inning. Cardinals get one back. 9-5 Dodgers to the 8th. Before the 8th, let's check into the studio for a preview of Access Sportsnet Dodgers, presented by your Southern California Ford dealers.
All right, thanks, Joe. Clayton Kershaw trying to improve to 104-0 in the regular season when he gets at least 4 runs of support. Jerry got a lot more than 4 tonight.
I love the offense, especially led by Manny Machado. Big night for Manny.
These 2 guys will break it down after the game. Alana has a reaction from the clubhouse. We'll see you soon.
All right, guys, new Cardinals pitcher in the game is Mike Myers, on for the 44th time here in his first full season in the majors.
Trying to get him some work, trying to keep it close. That studio hit. Nomar just stands there and smiles, and he's got his great suit on. And he's like Switzerland sometimes, just doesn't talk until it's time.
Does he ever talk in those previews?
Sometimes
Does he?
Yeah, sometimes maybe I've heard him talk, but not quite as much. He might get paid by the word.
Well, if that was the case, I'd be blabbing.
Yeah, but the producer's saying no,
right.
not yet.
Budgets.
Yeah.
Ball 1 on Kike Hernandez. Had a good night so far, walking a hit. One of the 13 hits for the Dodgers. Scored a total of 6 runs in the 3-game sweep at Dodger Stadium against the Cardinals, and they've got 9 here in the first game of this 4-game set. Tops it off with a plate. That's going to be an infield single for Kike Hernandez. He was hitless in Cincinnati in the 3 games, but he's got a couple hits tonight. Been on 3 times. Up comes Yasmani Grandal, who has really started to look good the last few days, hasn't he?
He sure has. And you know what? Getting hits from the right side, but a big hits from the left side. That's the more powerful and consistent side. But really good news for the Dodgers that he's getting hot, and good news that he's getting some hits from the right side.
Said he felt something click before the game Monday in Cincinnati, just doing some work in the cage with assistant hitting coach Brant Brown. One swing in particular, said he felt something click and said, oh boy, I think I got it. Took that feeling into the game that night, hit a home run. Climbs the ladder here and dumps it back for strike 1. A 3-hit game for him yesterday, his first since August 1st, which kind of marked the end of his very hot run to the month of July and the first day of August. It was actually a walk-off home run game against Milwaukee. Hernandez at first. The 1-2. For Myers, but it's outside and it's 2-2. Got it. Here's Verdugo. Came on as part of a double switch last inning for his first at bat tonight. Alex has always been a superstitious guy, and most baseball players have and are. There's a story when he was a teenager. Soon after he hit a home run, he broke the bat that he hit the home run with. So he went home and tried to screw the bat back together, tape it, and sand it, and finish it so he could use it again. 1-1. So either superstitious or frugal. Maybe a little bit of both.
Maybe a little bit of both. I thought you were headed into, so then he just kept that broken bat in his bat bag along with the bats that he could use, just so that bat could kind of talk to the new bats.
Right.
I could see that for sure.
Grounds on through the right side for a base hit.
Continues to impress in the batter's box. Just the way he goes about his business. Swings at strikes. This one he doesn't hit real hard, but he hits it in the right place, gives himself a chance. Spun his wheels getting out of the box, but it was only going to be a single.
And so they're at first and second as Chris Taylor comes up with one gone. Went around, strike one. Chris grew up wrestling. He's as big of a sport for him as baseball was. In fact, in his family, that was the sport. Third generation wrestling Taylor. His grandpa and his dad both wrestled at Virginia Tech. Grounded back to the mound. Myers goes to second just in time. Needed every bit of that velocity he's got on his throws to get Verdugo.
He wound up just as much to get the ball to second base as he does to deliver the ball home. That took a little time right there. 3 steps, 2 half steps and a full step to get it there. And I guess when you throw 98, you can take that much time.
Yeah.
Some guys want to throw the ball 98 just once to see what it feels like. I'd like to do it for about a season. Figure out how to develop the stuff with it, what you can do with it. So once would be like, nah, that's too much of a tease.
Turner, strike one. Took a little off, 95.
That would be a nice tool.
Take a little off,
yeah,
95.
Taking
yeah.
a little off. Never threw a ball 95 in my whole life. Taking a little off to throw 95.
What's the hardest you threw?
94. About 4 pitches a year. In my youth, not the end of the career. The end of the career, I was just hoping to bump up against 90.
What led you to touching 94 the 4 or 5 times you did it?
You know what? I had no idea, because until after the game, when I got the scouting report back and saw the radar readings, that's when I found out. Oh. You know, oh man, that one felt good, but when the game's over and you've won or lost, you've done your interviews, and now you get the report, hits your chair, and you're getting ready to go home. Maybe you read it then or read it the next day. You go, oh, really? That one was 94?
When did velocity on the scoreboards become standard practice in parks?
I'll be late in my career, so I retired in 2000.
You weren't touching 94 at the point that
they
started putting those babies in, huh?
When they were putting it up there at the end of my career, I wasn't looking. I didn't want to lose any confidence.
94 and a mirror. 49.
No, yeah. I bet you at the end my fastball was 84 to 88. But in the prime, 87 to 92, depending on what I was doing, going for velocity or going for more sink.
It all moved, though.
Well, I tried to make it move because I knew I wasn't going to throw it by the bat. So if I can't throw it by the bat, I want the bat to hit it weakly. And I never really tried to throw the ball as hard as I could throughout the outing. I always believed that changing speeds is not only down, but changing speeds is up. And the only way you can change speeds up is if you're throwing most of the game at about 85, 90% effort. So you've got to have that other gear when you need it. And so I felt like concentrating on location and movement with natural effort compared to extra effort was a better place to pitch, as far as the location and the movement being more consistent. And then secondly, having the ability to go to another level with a little bit more velocity when you needed it.
Turner can't lay off the slider, and that's down for the Dodgers in the 8th. They lead it 9-5.
Game before the Dodgers host the Padres on Saturday, September 22nd for La Gran Fiesta, brought to you by Spectrum and Coca-Cola. The fun begins at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and is free with a game ticket. For information, visit Dodgers.com/Viva.
Yasmani Grandal remains in the game to do the catching as we go to the bottom of the 8th with the Dodgers in front 9-5 in this series opener. Chance to get to within a game of the Cardinals for the second wild card spot. Back to within a game and a half behind the Rockies in the division. Colorado winning earlier today against Arizona. Strike one on Harrison Bader. Strike two. Bottom falls out of that changeup, strike 3. Kenley Jansen has joined Caleb Ferguson. You're right, the acoustics in that bullpen, they both sound like they're throwing 105.
You just love it when you're warming up and you get that kind of pop.
Left-handed batting Greg Garcia is due up, and it looks like Dave Roberts is going to bring on Ferguson for him. The Dodgers in front 9-5 here in the 8th. Comfortable lead at 9-5. Counter move for Mike Schill. He had sent off Greg Garcia, but instead it'll be Patrick Wisdom, the right-handed hitter.
PK still holding his left side there. He started holding that after he hit the wall in center field and after he rounded the bag at first his last at bat. A little stiffness working there. Caleb Ferguson on the mound, Joe, you can talk about his stuff. I almost want to talk about his makeup because he's got some pretty impressive stats that come from his mentality of attacking.
First one. Misses to Wisdom. What do you got?
He has the highest in-zone percentage of anybody in our bullpen as far as throwing the ball in the zone, over 56% of the time. And he's got the highest strike percentage over Kenley Jansen and Pat Venditti. 70% of the time he throws strikes. And for a youngster, for a rookie to be leading the Dodger bullpen in zone percentage and strike percentage tells you about there is no fear factor in this young man.
Here it is. I'm not trying to pitch around you.
I'm coming after you and I believe in my stuff.
1-2.
And an even deeper commitment to his stuff is Pat Venditti, who's right behind him. You're talking about a guy who throws mid-90s and a good curveball here, and the youngster with the left arm. And Pat with both arms, you know, he doesn't have electric stuff, but he's pinpoint and he is coming at you.
Wisdom sends a fly ball to right field where Alex Verdugo backs up for out number 2. I think everybody around the Dodgers in recent days has grown an affinity for Pat Venditti.
For sure. I mean, it was fun going up the elevator here when we arrived in St. Louis and we got to talk to him face to face about, hey, has your family told you about our breakdown of your game face? You know, you have a different one left-handed and you have a different than your right-handed one. He goes, no, I never really thought about it. I go, He'll probably tell you about it, or you might want to go back and listen to us.
He agreed, though, that
he did.
He's not the same
intense.
guy.
Nope. I'm a different person depending on what hand the glove's on.
Matt Carpenter with 2 out, looks at a strike.
What a good guy, too. I mean, there's so many good people in the organization, but when you see somebody with his commitment and his unique ability to throw with both hands, and then good teammate, and will do anything to get in the game and to be part of this. And why is he here? He's here because he's consistent. You know, he's somebody who's reliable, that you can depend on. He's not going to light up the radar gun. He's not going to light it up with spin rate. But you know what? You get what you get. You get everything from him, and he has been consistent. And so far, the work that he has put in and refining his deliveries and being able to throw the ball where he wants, he's got more and more important roles every day.
Ferguson looking for a 1-2-3-8. Carpenter slicing a fly ball to left, and Ferguson's got it as Taylor makes the catch. Manny Machado set to lead off the 9th inning. That's noteworthy because he's hitting a triple shy of the cycle. Stay tuned. Back in a moment. Sol on to pitch for the Cardinals, and Manny Machado due up for the Dodgers. Having singled in the 1st inning, doubled in the 3rd, and homered in the 7th. This is not an easy park to hit triples in. I don't know that any park is easy to hit triples in, but among the 30 parks, this one ranks 28th in the number of triples that it gives up. And he's got 2 of them this year.
With the scoreboard the way it is, and wanting him to stay healthy, if it's some unbelievable carom where he can just stride it out for an easy triple, go for it. But if it's something where he's got to push the envelope, I'd rather have him healthy and standing on second base.
I'm with you. Last Dodgers cycle was a similar situation. Cody Bellinger last year in Miami came up needing a triple in his final at bat and got it. And Giancarlo Stanton kind of misplaying the ball in right. So here we go. Machado taking ball 1. And a nice consolation would be his first 4-hit game as a Dodger. Two 2-0. Has 1 cycle in his pro career, but it was in the minors, 2012. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Hit a home run, miss home. Oops. That's a cycle.
Fly ball to left field, and he'll need some kind of adventure out here. 1 out. Still a heck of a night for Manny Machado to open this series. 3 for 4.
I thought he's touching third. Oh, he missed it. I thought he was going to run it out like a cycle to third, no matter what, even though they caught it.
There's Bellinger with 1 out. Fly to center field in his only at bat tonight. On for David Freese. Big swing. We've not seen as many swings that have come out of his helmet lately.
This was quite an effort. Whew.
Base hit, right center.
I think there was a little, I want to show you I can hit lefties still in that swing. First 2 swings, which you'll love it. Dave Roberts wants all these guys to want to play every day. He wants all these guys to want the big at-bats. You don't want your players looking over their shoulder like, hey, come on, come get me.
Yasiel Puig. 3-hit day for him yesterday. Takes ball 1. Been working on getting the ball in the air more. Ground ball rate had been higher than he'd like it in recent weeks. And didn't hit it exceptionally hard in a couple of those hits yesterday, but it was in the air and it was over the defense and landed for hits.
Don't we see that with our hottest hitter, Justin Turner? You see him hit the ball in the barrel and drive the ball, but you also see some of those flares, some of those kind of well-placed, put it in play in the air. Hitting it towards less fielders when you hit it in the air. Only 3 out there in the outfield.
On a 2-1, Puig swings, flies it to short right center. Jose Martinez. One more chance for Brian Dozier to get in the hit column tonight, sitting at 0 for 4.
You mentioned that Austin Barnes got his average with a 2 in front of it now. Brian Dozier getting to the point where having the 2 in front of it is getting a little precarious. Down to 217.
Pedro Baez. Ground ball. Second time tonight that Dozier's hit it pretty hard, but right at a defender, and that does it for the Dodgers in the 9th. 3 outs away from taking the opener from the Cardinals. Bottom of the 9th inning, and it's Kenley Jansen against the Cardinals. And when the Cardinals swept the Dodgers in August, it was Kenley's low point. He had just come off of the disabled list from the heart issue, and in 2 games gave up 3 home runs and took 2 of the losses in that series.
And it was a mixture of things, not being on the mound for a while. Maybe he had talked about some of the medicine, maybe not allowing him to have that killer instinct and really feeling like himself. But now he's talked with the doctors, they've adjusted a few things, and he has thrown the ball very, very well of late. But when you see the St. Louis uniform, it's going to remind him of those tough times, and he's going to have to push through that tonight.
A bit of a mental hurdle for him to try and overcome here. He'll get the heart of the lineup: Munoz, Martinez, and Ozuna. Three more games in this series. How about the pitching matchup tomorrow? It was awesome watching that first time around a few weeks ago. But again, it's Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty. One.
I spent some time with Walker the last few days and talked to him about his outing in Colorado, how things are going, and he is so full of confidence and feeling very good about tomorrow. Felt like there were parts of the outing in Colorado that the statistics didn't really reflect the stuff and the location he was hitting, but definitely excited about responding and helping the team out tomorrow.
1-2. Saturday, Rich Hill against John Gant. And then the big news that Alana reported earlier is that Ross Stripling, not only is he making the start on Sunday, but he'll remain in the rotation, and Alex Wood is moving into the bullpen. So that'll be Ross Stripling against Adam Wainwright Sunday night. Saturday exclusively on Fox, Sunday exclusively on ESPN. 2-2. Munoz starting the 9th, and he's worked it full against Jansen. Got away from him. Been nice these last couple of days to get Kenley Jansen some soft landing spots after not making the trip to Colorado, going about a week between outings. But he's issued a walk to open this outing. Jose Martinez stands in. Ball 1.
Kenley's ball to the right-handed hitter away is cutting naturally and looks really good when he's gone inside so far to the right-handed hitter. It's kind of falling off the first base and not really getting much cut action.
Two and up. top of the zone for strike one.
We saw Dave Roberts looking at his closer out there, watching him perform, and he's got a lot of cushion with a 4-run lead. But what Dave is looking at is the pitch execution, that if this was a 1-run lead or a 2-run lead, how's my closer feeling? How's the execution, the consistency of his pitches? And this spray pattern right now would make you a little uneasy. You don't feel it with a 4-run lead, but you feel it in projecting your confidence in him and your belief in him down the road. Kenley can solve that problem quickly by making an in-game adjustment right here.
Crack bend roller that'll sneak through. Base hit. The first two have reached against Jansen in the 9th.
Good pitch, bad luck. This stuff is going to happen, and what you have to do is keep executing consistently and keep making those good pitches, so if you get a bad break like this, you can go back on the mound and get some outs.
Here's Ozuna, and if Ozuna reaches, that's when it starts to get really interesting. DeYoung would come up representing the tying run at that point.
DeYoung comes up representing the tying run and was the one that made the base running error back in the 7th that really could have got the Cardinals a little closer.
Boy, he is all over the place.
Especially when he's going to that side of the plate. Usually you'll see the pitcher's body and his path. Rick Honeycutt likes to call it their lane. That when Kershaw's got both sides of the plate, he's in his lane in both lanes. Well, right now, Kenley's just got one lane, and that's away to a righty. Into a righty, he is wavering.
1-1.
Better right there. The ball cut. It was on the arm side there, and that's the way he wants to throw the ball. Nice adjustment on this particular pitch.
15th pitch, still looking for his first out, but he's ahead of Ozuna. Back-to-back solid pitches, 1 and 2.
Your lane doesn't begin with just where you release the ball. It begins with your leg kick and how you take your weight down the hill and what direction you're going with it, and then how you finish that before you land. If your head starts to pull off, if your leg kick is a little too hard or too soft, it can throw your timing off and your direction. And Kenley and Rick fixed it a while back. It was all about the direction of his body, not falling off towards first base. Good job. The body, the weight, the head all went the direction of where he wanted the ball to end up, right in the lane.
Walk to Munoz, single for Martinez. Now 1-2 to Ozuna that he pops in the air left side, and it'll become a souvenir, and it stays 1 and 2.
Driving down the freeway at 60 miles an hour and you want to change lanes, you just kind of ease the steering wheel over to the left, or if you want to go to the right, you go to the right. That's using your lane and your body and your head. If you want to feel the jerk, like you're changing lanes and you're jerking, that's when you're just using your hand to get it to the inside or to the outside. And your body's probably not done the right thing. You don't want any of that late adjustment in your delivery that you have to fix it at the end. It's too late there and you're just guessing. Right from the first movement, getting where you want to go.
Pop fly. Machado making the call. The infield fly rule in effect. Ozuna's the first out.
He's found it now. The last 5 or so have been really good.
Yeah, after he fell behind Ozuna, after walking Munoz, giving up the single to Martinez. Talk about that spray pattern. There hasn't been a very wide spray pattern. He settled it in against Ozuna. And now DeYoung with 1 out.
You know, Kenley is like Clayton Kershaw. They've raised the bar so high for themselves with all of their unbelievable production at such an elite level that when they're slightly off, it feels critical to talk about it, but it's to their standards that you're looking to evaluate them, that they've raised the bar that high.
And you can just see it in his eyes how irritated he is that he can't seem to completely capture what he knows is in there. 1-0 on DeYoung.
That one didn't cut, but I don't think he wanted to cut it. I think he was trying to throw the 2-seamer in there, and I think it was actually why they had an actual conference before the first pitch. Kind of like, I don't want to have to shake to this. Let me tell you what I'm trying to throw.
Had the signature cutting action to it. Strike 1.
Yeah, they were going kind of a runner on the first pitch to show them they're going in there and jam them, and then we're going to throw the cutter back in there. He pulled it, but he had the late cutting action.
Two on, 1 out, 9th inning. Jansen's 1-1. Poke down the line. Strike 2.
What does Dave Roberts think of Kenley in the precision now? Well, you don't see this very often when Kenley Jansen has a 4-run lead. Double barrel action in the bullpen.
The 1-2.
Sometimes it's hard to get on the same page, even for Yasmani and Kenley, because is Yasmani trying to get him on track so he's going to a pitch that he knows is a little easier for him, or is he trying to go to the scouting report and go to the hitter's hole?
DeYoung takes it high and the count goes full.
So much more time for a starting pitcher that's got 5 or 6 innings in front of him to work through issues, and for catchers to develop the relationship and watch the spray pattern and adjust their targets and adjust what they call, but you got to do it in a hurry with your closer.
Walks him and the bases are loaded. And Jed Jerko, who has a home run against Kenley Jansen this year, comes to the plate representing the tying run.
Flashback to a nightmare. Jerko on a high cutter, stayed on top of that and got it out of Dodger Stadium. Well, everything that Kenley was trying to erase in this outing is now very vivid in front of him.
Strike 1.
Strike 1 and an exhale to start the count.
Loaded up in the 9th inning. An 0-1 to Jerko is way outside ball 1. Dodgers led this game by 8 runs. 2 walks and a hit in this inning. Jerko looks at strike 2. Set for the 1-2. Off the end of the bat to second. Dozier to second, 1. Throw to first over Bellinger. Martinez in to score. They're 1 out away. But 2 runs are in, and it's 9-7 as Francisco Pena gets pulled back and Matt Adams gets sent to the plate.
Another broken bat, and this one has got a chance to be 2, and Machado goes to rush the throw to really blaze it over to first to maybe end the game, and in doing so throws it high. They score 2, but I like the fact that he went for it.
So here is Adams. Well, the number's not great since coming over to the Cardinals a few weeks ago, but he has hit a couple big home runs and, of course, has big home runs throughout his career against the Dodgers. Pinch runner in the game at first. It's Adolis Garcia. Nine, 7, 9th inning. Jansen to Adams. Ground ball to first. It's a fair ball and the game is over. Jansen and the Dodgers can exhale. A 9-7 win in the series opener to bring them to within a game of the Cardinals in the wild card standings.
Keeping pace with the Rockies. A W for the first game of this series, and guess what, folks? There's another big game tomorrow.
Time for the player of the game, brought to you by Lexus. It's